Introduction. Veronika Decides to Die tells the story of Veronika, a young woman who appears to have everything she could want in life, but who feels deeply unfulfilled and disconnected from the world around her. One day, she decides to take her own life, but her suicide attempt fails and she wakes up in a mental institution. As she begins to interact with the other patients in the hospital, Veronika discovers a new sense of purpose and meaning in life. Through Veronika's journey, author Paulo Coelho encourages readers to question their own assumptions about what it means to be truly alive. The novel begins with the story of Veronika, a young woman who appears to have everything she could want in life, but who feels deeply unfulfilled and disconnected from the world around her. One day, she decides to take her own life by ingesting a large quantity of sleeping pills. However, her suicide attempt fails and she wakes up in a mental institution called Villette. The doctors inform her that she has only a few days to live, due to the damage the pills have caused to her heart. Veronika initially feels angry and frustrated that her suicide attempt failed, and she is resentful of the other patients in the hospital. However, as she begins to interact with the other patients, she discovers a new sense of purpose and meaning in life. She befriends a young man named Eduard, who suffers from panic attacks and agoraphobia, and a woman named Zedka, who is recovering from a traumatic experience in her past. She realizes that the other patients in the hospital are not crazy, but rather have simply chosen to live their lives differently from the norm. She also begins to explore her own creativity, writing a letter to her parents that expresses her true feelings for the first time. Meanwhile, the doctors at Villette are struggling to save Veronika's life. As Veronika's time in the hospital draws to a close, she realizes that she has fallen in love with Eduard. She decides to take a risk and tells Eduard how she feels, but he responds by telling her that he is gay. Feeling rejected and alone, Veronika decides to escape from the hospital. She steals some pills from the pharmacy and takes them, hoping to finally end her life. However, she is discovered by the hospital staff and brought back to Villette. As she recovers from her suicide attempt, she realizes that she has been given a second chance. Characters. 1. Veronika. The protagonist of the novel, Veronika is a young woman who is deeply unhappy with her life. She feels that she is not living up to her potential and is disconnected from the world around her. After a failed suicide attempt, she is admitted to a mental institution called Villette, where she begins to question her own assumptions about mental illness and the nature of reality. Through her interactions with other patients and staff at Villette, Veronika begins to see the world in a new way and discovers a newfound sense of purpose and meaning in her life. 2. Eduard. A young man who suffers from panic attacks and agoraphobia, Eduard befriends Veronika in the hospital and helps her to see the world in a new way. Veronika falls in love with Eduard, but he reveals that he is gay. Despite this, their friendship continues to grow and Eduard becomes a source of strength and support for Veronika throughout her journey. 3. Zedka. A woman who is recovering from a traumatic experience in her past, Zedka befriends Veronika in the hospital and helps her to see that there are many different ways of living one's life. Through her interactions with Zedka, Veronika begins to understand the importance of empathy and compassion in the face of suffering. 4. Dr. Igor. The head doctor at Villette, Dr. Igor is initially skeptical of Veronika's diagnosis, but eventually comes to believe that she is suffering from a rare heart condition. He is a complex character who is both caring and detached, and his interactions with Veronika reveal the complexities of the doctor-patient relationship. 5. Mari, a nurse at Villette who befriends Veronika and helps her to navigate the strange world of the hospital. 6. Paulo. A young man who is also a patient at Villette, Paulo is obsessed with the idea of freedom and encourages Veronika to break free from the constraints of society. 7. Gabriel. A young man who is also a patient at Villette, Gabriel is a musician who helps Veronika to find her own creative voice. Themes. Mental illness. The novel explores the nature of mental illness and the stigma that is often attached to it. 2. Authenticity. The novel also explores the importance of being true to oneself and living an authentic life. 3. Meaning and purpose. The novel also explores the search for meaning and purpose in life. It raises important questions about what gives life meaning and how individuals can find a sense of purpose in a world that can often feel meaningless. 4. Love and connection. The novel also explores the importance of love and connection in our lives. It raises questions about the role that relationships play in shaping our lives and the importance of human connection in a world that can often feel isolating. 5. Death and mortality. The novel also explores the nature of death and mortality. Motifs. 1. Time. Time is a recurring motif in the novel, and is often used to emphasize the fleeting nature of life. 2. Dreams. Dreams are also a recurring motif in the novel, and are often used to represent the inner desires and aspirations of the characters. 3. Freedom. Freedom is a recurring motif in the novel, and is often used to represent the idea of breaking free from societal constraints. 4. Hope. Hope is another recurring motif in the novel, and is often used to represent the idea of finding meaning and purpose in life. Setting. The novel, Veronika Decides to Die, by Paulo Coelho is set in the city of Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia. The novel is primarily set in a mental institution called Valet, where the protagonist, Veronika, is admitted after attempting to take her own life. Writing style. The writing style of Veronika Decides to Die, by Paulo Coelho is characterized by its simplicity and clarity. The language is straightforward and easy to understand, which makes it accessible to a wide range of readers. Overall, the writing style of Veronika Decides to Die is engaging and thought-provoking, and is well suited to the novel's exploration of complex and important issues. Genre. The novel, Veronika Decides to Die, by Paulo Coelho is a work of fiction that can be classified as a philosophical novel. The novel is notable for its introspective and philosophical tone, and for its exploration of complex and important issues in a way that is accessible to a wide range of readers.